Alright guys, autumn is here and I love to wear gourmands in the autumn because I like that cozy feeling, comforting feeling, comforted, relaxed feeling that I get from gourmands. So I've got 11 fragrances here that are gourmands, perfect for autumn wear. Some are new, some are newish, some are a little older but new to me, and I'm going to talk about them coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, we're talking about gourmand fragrances. I've got 11 gourmand fragrances here. I've got 3 from one brand, but I'm talking about one of them in the main list, and I've got a couple of bonuses from them. This is an unranked list, but I do love my gourmands, and we're going in different directions for gourmands. We even have milky, lactonic fragrances here, lots of vanillic fragrances, boozy as well, but perfect autumn fragrances in the gourmand genre. So why don't we go ahead and get started with the first fragrance I'm talking about. This is from a house called RIRANA Parfum, and I reviewed their coconut nanas probably over a year and a half ago. This is their newest. It's vanilla tea. Tea is also a great note for autumn. Once again, cozy. So this is tea in addition to vanilla, and I find both of those notes to be extremely relaxing and soothing and comforting. And it's a perfect pairing here in this particular fragrance. It's definitely really delicious. You get the vanillic touches, and you also get that cozy tea vibe in this particular fragrance as well. And the result is just super delicious and very, very relaxing and calming. So it's vanilla, tea, sugar, blood orange, apricot, pear, Ambrette, honeysuckle, lime, and rose. So there's definitely fruitiness here and also muskiness with a little bit of a floral touch and some light citruses. The rose in here is pretty faint. You might pick it up here and there, but for me it's mostly the vanilla, tea, and sugar with that citrusy touch of the blood orange. Great scent. I really like this. I want to dig into this house further. I really love coconut nanas. If you like coconut and ananas, or in this case pineapple, definitely check that out. But in this, vanilla tea, really a delicious new release from this house. This next fragrance, I'm going to the house of MANOS, GERAKINIS. This is the newest fragrance from this house, METHEXIS, this one right here. You know, this is a very unique gourmand fragrance for me, created by Chris Maurice. It's taking kind of his signature gourmand stylings and throwing in this kind of green and fruity fig experience in there. So the fig leaves, you can experience that, you can smell it. It's bitter, it's green, a little camphoric, a little aromatic, and then the fruitiness from the fig is thrown in here as well. But for me, this is cocoa, vanilla, figs, dried fruits, benzoin, so it's ambery, it's gourmand, it's delicious, it's a little chocolatey, very creamy and vanillic. Super delicious. Really like this one a lot. I used to talk a lot about Immortelle from this house. This has kind of replaced that, although I still love Immortelle from this house. If you never smelled Immortelle, that's probably like 4 or 5 years old now. It's the experience of cookie butter, speculous, but here I'm really digging this because the gourmand contrasted with the figs is truly wonderful, especially since I get the leaves of the figs. So METHEXIS is from the house of MANOS GERAKINIS. Remember, this is not a ranked list. Moving on to the house of NARCOTICA, this is DULCE DIABLO, this one right here. So this is super beast mode. A little goes a long way. I've had some clients come in here, family come in here to smell fragrances, and I've sprayed this. They were so overwhelmed with the power of this particular fragrance, the intensity of it. But it is a really delicious gourmand fragrance, but also very, very boozy. You've got notes of cognac, cacao, sandalwood, dried apricot, Madagascar vanilla, rum, patchouli, and of course also apricots, in addition to the dried apricots. But you know, you experience the apricot-y touch in here quite truly. It's almost like a boozy apricot compote type of a touch, you know, because there's an overdose of apricots here along with that cognac, and then it makes for kind of like a macerated apricot, either dry or, you know, raw apricots in this kind of like a boozy dessert like compote experience. But it's super delicious. You've got lots of vanilla here and rum and cognac, so it's super boozy as well. Really delicious, very long lasting. It's NARCOTICA DULCE DIABLO. That is the third fragrance I'm recommending today. So moving on to the next fragrance at number 4, remembering this is not a ranked list. This is Liquid Imaginaires Blanche, this one right here. If you're into milky lactonic fragrances, this is one that's going to satisfy because it's super soothing and calming with that milky touch. It's musk mallow, milk, Jasmine, Tuberose, and also Mahonial. So the combination also seems like there's definitely vanillic touches here and also ambery touches, and some sweetness like perhaps sugar and a little spiciness in the end there, somewhere behind there, you know, trying to come out and, you know, dabbling or touching a little bit of its stylings and touches in there to throw in a little spice. But it's mostly very milky, like warm milk touch, you know, like in the winter you drink some warm milk. I usually have warm milk in a cappuccino, but that's the touch I get, the experience I get with this one. It is super soothing and super relaxing, and also very, very lactonic and gourmand. I wouldn't call this uber gourmand in that it's milky, and that's why I'm putting it here. So it's not like your traditional like overdose of vanilla and caramel and things like that. The star here is milk, and it's also very, very musky, and it has these very sweet gourmandish touches, floral touches as well. So this is BLANCHE from the house of Liquid Imaginaires. Do let me know if you've tried that one. It's really delicious, guys. It's very cozy. The next one, talking about a fragrance from the house of MILANO FRAGRANZE. This is Panettone, this one right here. So Italians know what panettone is, of course. It's a traditional sweet pastry, bread, fruitcake that they have during the holidays, and I've had plenty of it myself, and I love the flavor and the smell of it, and they've captured it here with this particular fragrance. The experience is that panettone, and that's what it's called. This features notes of vanilla, bitter orange, rum, buckwheat, ginger, immortelle, mandarin orange, carrot seeds. So the immortelle, it's a flower, a dry, it's called the everlasting flower, and it's always dry. It looks dry, and when you put it in fragrances, it always creates these kind of brown sugary caramel nuances to fragrances. So this definitely has those kind of touches here. The zing from the ginger, the booziness from the rum, the vanilla and the orangey touch. Definitely there's orange in panettone. I've experienced it plenty, but it's really delicious, guys. This is MILANO FRAGRANZE panettone. It's almost like a Christmas holiday in Italy when you put that fragrance on. So as I was saying, most of these fragrances are fairly new. This next one's probably not so new, but it's new to me, and this is, again, a very beast mode fragrance from this house. So this might be one you wear probably when it's colder outside. And again, some of these are going to be perfect for winter as well. I'm talking about the house of Unique Luxury. It's Couté, this one right here. This Couté is a booze fest and also has those kind of Middle Eastern stylings in the background. So you have these kind of like oody, woody touches in the background, mixed with the boozy and gourmand and tobacco touches up front for me. I get lots of whiskey here with tobacco. There's oud, there's caramel, there's amber, sandalwood, vanilla, along with nagarmotha, davana, and bergamot here. So it is a gourmand in the end, but you're mixing it with like this kind of Middle Eastern oudi touch. So you've got that contrasted with the boozy gourmand touches. So it's very, very long lasting. It's, I guess people compare this to Nasomato's, what's the fragrance called? Man, I'm drawing a blank. That fragrance, the boozy one from Nasomato. I don't think that fragrance itself had oud, because this is very oody to me, but maybe when you strip away the oud, you might be left with that kind of a fragrance. Very long lasting here. This is Couté from the house of Unique Luxury, the sixth fragrance I'm talking about. Next, going to the house of Jovoy. This is Fire at Will, this one right here. So Fire at Will is a vanilla bomb. Just super delicious vanilla bomb. Like, it's just brown sugar and vanilla and caramel in your face. Very cozy, very, you know, like delicious. That's the type of fragrance this is. And you know, gourmand fragrances and vanillic fragrances are some of my favorites, and this to me does have a little booziness, but it doesn't necessarily go in the direction of something like Spirituous Double Vanille. Kinda does, but it doesn't. This to me kind of smells like Tijota and maybe a little bit of something like Spirituous Double Vanille mixed together, but it's almost like fluffy. If you've ever cooked or baked, when you're mixing whipped cream with vanilla, like a true vanilla liquid, that's what I get with this. That's what it smells like. It's very fluffy and foamy, and so it gives you a very comforting feel to it when you put it on. It's almost like you've got these like mushroom pods or marshmallow pods that you're jumping in, the big ones, and you're like, you know, kind of like bouncing around. That's how the fragrance wears on me. But it's vanilla, brown sugar, amber, musk, mimosa, and vetiver. Mimosa is a flower, a yellow flower that has honey touches. So this particular fragrance definitely has the kind of honey touches contrasted with the vanilla as well, along with the brown sugar. So this is Fire at Will from the House of Javoy. Great scent. Check it out. It's very cozy for that. That particular fragrance is very, very cozy. Moving on to the House of Givenchy in the La Particulière collection of fragrances. This is Enflammé, this one right here. So Enflammé is their vanilla fragrance, but this time they're throwing in tobacco and coffee as well. So you've got this kind of a gourmand tobacco experience here. Madagascar vanilla, coffee with tobacco. So there's definitely a dirty ashiness here. It's not the leafy kind, it's the ashy kind. So when you're wearing this particular fragrance, you not only get some darkness from the coffee, but you also get this kind of like dirtiness, the ashiness from the tobacco, contrasted with this kind of beautiful, silky smooth Madagascar vanilla. So that's Enflammé from the House of Givenchy. Are you guys familiar with that collection? I'm planning on doing a whole video of that entire collection. Nobody talks about them. They're fairly decent fragrances, and Enflammé, I think, is definitely satisfactory as a fragrance. Alright, it seems like the next fragrances are all vanilla focused, but I call these gourmand fragrances. This is from the House of Soradora. This is Orchidée Rouge. This one right here. Orchidée Rouge, I think they're focusing on the orchid, which is a vanilla orchid, of course. But this is a very, very kind of... I feel like there's cherries here in this particular fragrance, and there could be, and I just don't know that they have cherries here, because there's definitely a cherry touch, but I get lots of vanilla in here and also booziness. So it's rum, caramel, benzoin, vanilla, heliotrope, almonds, elemi resin, orange, and musk. So you're picking up the kind of almondy touch here for sure. And almonds and cherries kind of really go wonderfully together in fragrances. And I feel like I get that fruitiness from the cherry here. And Orchid Rouge probably refers to the redness of the rouge is red, redness of the cherries, and then of course the orchid referring to the vanilla. Very delicious. Soradora Orchidée Rouge. Moving on to the House of Mise en Cire. This is a newer discovery for me, but not necessarily a newish fragrance. I think it's several years old, like 2 or 3. This is Très Cher, and I've been featuring this one here and there. This is Bourbon Vanilla. So it's got the very vanillic touch, but you also have all these musks and also floral touches. So it's Bourbon Vanilla, Exaltone, which is a musk, Sandalwood, Ambrox, which is woody amber, Paradisone, which is jasmine and floral, and then there's addition of jasmine sambac. So it's gourmand with floral touches. So the gourmand, warm, velvety, smooth, ambery touch of the vanilla kind of brightened up and freshened up with the floral notes. So I consider jasmine and floral touches to be fresh, so it's contrasted with the warmth of the vanilla. So it's kind of like in between. You have the best of both worlds, and makes for an easier vanillic wear. It's great. It's really delicious. If you're looking for kind of a floral take on a gourmand, definitely try Très Cher from the House of Mise en Cire. And this next fragrance, I've been dying to get this fragrance in its original format for a good 7 years. Finally, this brand has re-released this fragrance, and I'm drooling all over it because it's all about vanilla. This is Note Vanille from the House of M. Michelaf. I was drawing blank there for a minute. So Note Vanille is a vanilla bomb, once again, just like the Fire at Will, but they're completely different fragrances. To me, Note Vanille is more of a fragrance that leans towards the spirituous double vanille direction than Fire at Will does. So there's that difference here, especially since this is very, very boozy. So we've got vanilla, rum, cognac, amber, sandalwood, jasmine, and mandarin orange, along with some additional nondescript citruses. It wears beautifully, it's super delicious, very cozy, and all vanillic gooey. I love that about this one. Definitely the booziness is there, it really does shine here, and I absolutely love it. I don't know if the fragrance has changed from the previous version. I never got to sample it, and everybody's recommended that fragrance so many times. I was looking for it everywhere, couldn't, but finally there's a new version of Note Vanille. Note Vanille is the last fragrance I'm talking about today from the House of M. Michelaf. Are you familiar with that house, M. Michelaf? I'd like to do a video overview on that house. I haven't spoken too much about the house. I've featured fragrances here and there, but I'm going to dig in and do an overview. I mean, I've been a fan of Ylang in Gold, and I've reviewed 1 or 2 fragrances here and there. But if you're curious to learn more about M. Michelaf, do let me know. Other than that, guys, that's all I have for you today. 11 Gourmand fragrances you can wear in the autumn, and we are in autumn here. I love this season. Let me know if you know these fragrances, and let me know if there are any other Gourmand fragrances that you just discovered that you are going to be wearing this particular season. Put a comment down so I can find out. Either way, I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video, please share it, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Alright, we got 2 fragrances, 2 more from the same house, Soradora, of the Orchidée Rouge fragrance. The first one is Mandorle, this one right here. Yummy, once again. In fact, these 3 fragrances are my favorite fragrances from this house. I'm really obsessed over the way these fragrances smell. They're super delicious. Mandorle is really yummy. It's got cocoa, it's got almonds, heliotrope, tonka beans, suede, rum, cashmere, vanilla, woods, and musk. Yeah, if you like chocolatey touches and boozy touches and nutty touches, leather and things like that, Mandorle is yum. Yum. I'm gonna put some on because I'm not wearing anything right now. That is a first, and then the next one, a third one from this house, is Brocéliande. Another delicious gourmand fragrance you can wear this season. This one to me is a little fresher and a little more boozier and less gourmand. It features lime, coriander, bergamot, lemon, ginger, iris, cinnamon, sesame, civet, caramel, styrax, rum, castoreum, and vanilla. Very unique fragrance. To me, it acts like a cocktail, kind of like a fresh cocktail with warm undertones kind of a thing. I'm going to spray that one here and tell you. Yeah, this one, yeah. Yum. It's very yum. I like the fact that it has these animalic touches contrasted with those kind of gourmand and fresh, boozy, cocktail-y type touches. Really yummy. Brocéliande is the last bonus fragrance I'm talking about. If you don't know that house, Soradora, go catch the video on the house. I did a video on them, and we gave away some discovery sets. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.